Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sree's daily global COVID-19 show. My name is Sreenivasan, and it's my honor to convene this daily conversation. I'm the Marshall Loeb Visiting Professor of Digital Innovation at Stony Brook School of Journalism, and I've been a journalist and social media consultant for a very long time here in New York City. Please tag your friends, please hit share, please bring them all into this chat, this show that we're having. We're using the hashtag Sree COVID-19 call, so that you can join the conversation on Twitter. But we're live on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. Please tag your friends so they can be here with us. It's Sunday, which means it's Sunday night positivity show, and there we talk to purposeful and positive people to help them inspire us as we go into our Monday and the work day ahead of us, the work weeks ahead of us. So let me tell you who we have for you. She'll be joining us in a little bit. Positivity with Christina Deyo. She is an 8-time Emmy-award winning producer. She's worked on the Martha Stewart Show, the Rosie O'Donnell Show. She's a chef and co-owner of Cook and Craft Academy and has so many fabulous stories to tell. I was earlier prepping the show and she was talking to our producer, Rose Horowitz, and casually the name Bob Hope came into the conversation. That happens when you're hanging around Christina, clearly. So please stand by for our session with Christina Deyo. This is brought to you in partnership with Scroll.in, one of India's leading news culture and information news websites. Please check them out at Scroll.in, and they are simulcasting this on their Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So tell us where you're watching from. We want to hear from you. Tell us your questions. Ask her anything. Ask me anything. This is show number 60, folks, 60. We've been live for 60 straight days, including weekends, here from New York, where we are on lockdown mode. And that tells you something. 2 months of these shows and 2 months of pain and much worse all over the world for even longer than that. But we're very grateful for the community that we have built here and for being with us. I'm so grateful. So many of you tell us that this is a lifeline for you, that this is uplifting for you, but I can tell you it's uplifting for me. I benefit the most from these sessions. Today we have a lot going on in addition to talking to Christina. It's Mother's Day, so we're going to do this awesome Thank a Mom on Mother's Day tribute, and you're going to see some incredible greetings that are being shared by daughters and sons and nephews and nieces and grandkids to moms. So please stay tuned for that. And here you're seeing a picture of me with my mom in Tokyo 50 years ago this October. And on the right, that's a photo of Sudha Parekh, who is the mom of our executive producer of many of our shows, our friend Neil Parekh. And so you're going to get a chance to see all these greetings from around the world. So stay tuned for that. And Neil and I and others work on DigiMentors, where we convert in-person events to virtual events. Maybe you'd like your own talk show like this. Maybe you have a conference you want to put on the air. Maybe you have something else you'd like to do. We can be 100% of your production company or just 10%. We are here to help you. If you know anyone who's thinking of canceling a conference, postponing an event, talk to us. We can help you. Everything from birthdays to much more complicated things. We're working on a show for 50,000 teachers, a conference in May. We just finished a project for Princeton University, 3-day conference. We're doing all kinds of things. If you'd like a white label talk show that is yours, we can help you with that. Please email me, Sree@Sree.net. You see right on the screen my email address. If you can sketch it out, we can deliver it for you. We have a fabulous team that's working together. Many of you have seen our Sunday New York Times read along. That's an example of one of our professional shows. This is an amateur show where I'm pushing all the buttons and doing all this. And that's because we want to show you that what we can do when we're just doing this kind of in a lighthearted way, but the serious stuff, when you're putting money on the table, we're helping you in a completely different way. So please be in touch. Email me if you'd like your own show or just a conversation about that. We've got so many things that are coming up, and we're excited and honored that people would work with us. The company is called DigiMentors, and I'm honored to be a part of a fabulous team that's doing that. Let's thank our sponsors who make all of this possible. We want to thank Pratham USA. Today's the last day that your impact can be doubled as part of their Mother's Day, reaching out to the world, their RISE, or Responsive Innovation to Sustain Education campaign in India. You can help children get education in India right now. Your donation will be doubled at prathamusa.org, prathamusa.org. Double your donations right now, wherever you are in the world, prathamusa.org, or go to prathamusa.link/rise for Pratham. We're also sponsored by Nidhi Sinha, who's put in an ad for ProPublica. Please donate and support ProPublica. Congrats on their latest Pulitzer Prize. That's 6 in 12 years. Journalism that holds the powerful accountable. Support ProPublica at a time when deep dive journalism is most needed. So if you would like to sponsor us on a regular basis, just email me. We have a global audience, people from around the world. Let's take a look who's watching with us here today. Geeta is watching from Memphis. Welcome, Geeta. Great to see you. Neil Parekh is watching from Springfield, Virginia, our executive producer on so many of the shows we do. We watch, and Geeta says, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers, aunts, grandmothers, and all mother figures in our lives. Sonali's watching from LA. Very nice to see you, Sonali. And Sonali says, I have a nice living room. I do have a nice living room, but this is not my living room. After 60 days of doing these shows and yelling in my living room, my family basically kicked me out and said, if you're going to do this, you have to go somewhere else. So we've been lent this living room by our dear friend Rajni. Thank you, Rajni. This is like an ad for your home. Thank you, and thank you for noticing. And Pradnya is with us. Pradnya did an amazing job today. She was our speaker on our morning New York Times read-along, folks. We read the Sunday New York Times out loud like crazy people every Sunday, 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. And today Pradnya was with us. She's a mom, philanthropic strategist, and executive director at Magic Bus USA, and she is in Silver Spring, Maryland. As you can see, she spent 2 hours with us, and she's back. Maybe this is what she asked her family for, time away from the family so that she can be with friends and family online. Instead, Steve Taylor is here, one of our fabulous producers in the DigiMentors team, and Carla Baranakis is here. Carla, you are responsible for so many of our fabulous guests, and you keep delivering one hit after another. Carla is a fabulous honorary producer for the New York Times Read Along and these shows that we're doing. And Sonali says, I admire your energy at 9 p.m. New York time. Thank you. I get my energy from you, Sonali, and everybody else. Sudha is watching. Sudha is Neil's mom, watching from Hastings on Hudson. Sonali says 60 straight days. Yes, it's crazy. Only possible because of our two incredible producers who help me book guests and also do live tweeting during the show. Vandana Menon, Vandana_Menon, and Rose Horowitz, who you will meet in a little bit. Rose Horowitz 31 on Twitter. From the South China Seas is Captain Junaid is watching. Are you on the South China Seas, or are you near the South China Seas? You're a captain, most likely of a ship, and we're honored that you will be with us. We salute everybody who's in the transportation business, making it possible to enjoy the living standards that we are in so many places in the world. Maria is watching from Baltimore. We want our guest Christina to tag and share with her friends so they can all join us from around the world as we do this. Jonathan Borstein has watched 60 straight episodes. Every day he's here. We are so grateful from the East Village. And Cherry is watching from Trivandrum, Kerala in India. We are so grateful to Cherry and everybody else who is here and watching from around the world. Maria says, Happy Mother's Day. Marielle says, Happy Mother's Day from Kansas City. We love Kansas City. And those are the kinds of places I can't wait to get back to. Jonathan says, an addendum to the Shakespeare show. That's right. We had an entire show on Shakespeare on Thursday. You will want to go into my archives on YouTube and find it. SreeNet is my YouTube channel. Look at this show. We had a fabulous show where we talked to two of the world's greatest professors of Shakespeare, Emma Smith and Carol Rutter. at Oxford and the University of Warwick. We talked about Shakespeare with my colleague, Linda Bernstein, who herself is an expert on English literature. And we had such a great time. Thank you for watching, Jonathan. And thank you for reminding us of that show. Everyone, please go to YouTube, hit subscribe right now, and it will help you keep in touch with all the shows that we are doing on this channel. And Mariel says, rocking results. And Maria says, who's the most impressive person you have ever met, Christina Deyo? That question is going to come to you soon. And Arlene says, my furniture has changed. She noticed. And Pradnya says she missed Rupa this morning. Rupa, we love you, even though you've kicked me out downstairs in our own building. I love you very much. Happy Mother's Day. And Carla says hello. And she says her sister and her family live in Memphis. This is this family that we are gathering from around the world. And I hope someone tags Rajani Menon to tell her that her home is getting lots of good shout outs. Arjun's watching from Montreal. Hello, upstairs neighbor. And Arlene is right. We should do an interview with Jonathan Borstein, who has watched 60 straight episodes. We'll do that. How about the 75th episode? We'll get together and do the family and friends of the show again. But without further ado, let me bring on our new friend, Christina Deyo. She is tuning in and she's ready to come on stage. Here she is. Hello. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, and happy Mother's Day to all. This is just a wonderful experience, and I'm very glad to be here.
We are so grateful to have you, Christina. Our friend Rose Horowitz said that we must talk, and so here you are on short notice on Mother's Day. Now tell me, were you actually glad to get away a little bit, or were you sorry to leave your family for an hour?
No, well, I never leave the family, especially during this time. They're all running around the house, so it's all good, and I think my family is very excited, so very happy to be here. We talked a little bit before the show. You were saying about Bob Hope. Bob Hope I met on one of the first jobs I had in television. It was for a local TV show, and Bob Hope was one of the nicest people I had ever met. Was just very courteous, very sweet, just such a nice, wonderful person. And now your one viewer, Maria, asked who was, one of my most impressive people that I met. It was within the same week that I met Bob Hope, and he was definitely one of my favorites. But I think my all-time favorite was Elizabeth Taylor. She was just, high class. The reason why I think I liked her so much is we filmed in front of a live audience, and she actually, after the show was done taping in front of about 200 people, she actually signed autographs and took photographs with everybody in the audience. And that's like unheard of with celebrities today, because they're always like in the rush and always, quick to run out. But she was just so courteous, so sweet. I think it's that glamour of the old time Hollywood, and they really value their fans, and they know that their fans are really, who put them where they are. So I think that's why they were just so courteous to everybody. And she was definitely one of my favorites.
What an incredible story. I want to remind everyone that you're now watching a conversation with Christina Deyo. This is our positivity episode. I'm already feeling positive with Christina's energy. 8-time Emmy-award winner. She's worked with folks like Martha Stewart and Rosie O'Donnell. She has her own company now called Cook and Craft, and she's going to talk all about that in a little bit. But we want to do two things before we get into all of that. We want to show a picture of you with Bob Hope, and we want to do a little tribute to your mom. So let's start with Bob, then we'll go to your mom, and then we'll go to a bunch of other moms, and then come back, if that's okay, Christina.
Sounds wonderful.
All right, so here we go. Tell us what's happening right here.
So this was actually just right after.
Christina, you could just peek over the side by leaning to the right or left. No, keep going. Yep. No, there you are. We see you. There you go.
Okay. No, actually, this was right after the show. Bob Hope stopped for a picture. And of course, I look a lot younger then. I don't have any gray hair. But Bob was just so wonderful. He had written a book and we were promoting his book. And again, no problem signing autographs, no problem taking pictures, just a wonderful, very funny guy, not just, on camera and such, but just all around, always very funny.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I made you move. You could now scoot over again. What a great picture. I'm going to just show it one more time. I love seeing that. And he's also a member of the Pocket Square Club, which I'm a member of. And so I like seeing that. And what year was this roughly?
Oh, this probably was 1989, around there.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. And Bob, obviously a great inspiration for so many people around the world. And you said something about old time Hollywood, right? It was not a perfect place in any way, but some of the stars like shone so much brighter than some of our stars today.
Well, I think they really valued their fans. I mean, I think they knew the fans were the ones that kind of, put them where they were and where they are, and they valued that. And so, they really took that in and it really showed. I also produced other people like Mickey Rooney, who actually ended up becoming one of my good friends. Just because, again, just valuing people who appreciated his work and what he did. And, it's funny when I tell people, oh, yeah, Mickey Rooney is one of my good friends. Oh, yeah, I met Bob Hope. Oh, yeah, Elizabeth Taylor took pictures with the entire audience. It's hard to believe, but with a lot of the stars today, sadly, that's not always the case because they're in such a rush. And so I think it is a great lesson to just kind of stop, smell the roses, and enjoy life.
Wow, what great advice. Rick says, how can we escalate virtues up into an upward spiral of positive energy? Sree, you're doing a great job of it. Thank you so much, Rick. JP is watching from Rockaway. Happy Mother's Day. Actually, we didn't tell Christina. Where are you watching from, Christina?
I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Amazing. Knoxville, Tennessee. I made my first trip, Christina, to Chattanooga, Tennessee, the first time in Tennessee.
Not too far from us.
February 6th, where we were just starting. It was a travel conference of all things. And we were saying there seemed to be some turbulent things coming down the pike. We had no idea how things would be. My last trip was to Chattanooga. I had a fabulous time. The food was amazing, of course, and not an easy place to get to, but I loved every minute as part of a conference called the Education Travel Consortium. Absolutely wonderful. I'm hoping we can get back to those days. And my we have someone watching from Memphis, as you heard. So you're Knoxville, Chattanooga, Memphis, and there are obviously so many other fabulous places in Tennessee that we could be and should be talking about. This Saturday, by the way, on my I have a spin-off radio show on WBAI FM 99.5 and WBAI Worldwide. It's a call-in show. And by the way, Christina, you've not lived till you've been on a call-in show in New York City, where people call you and tell you exactly what they think. There's nobody shy there. But my guest is going to be Jonathan Metzl, who is a psychologist, and you may know a professor at Vanderbilt. He's a rock star there at Vanderbilt.
Awesome. That's wonderful.
And his book is called Dying from Whiteness. Basically, what is happening with white folks in America, that they are basically dying because they are being given such bad information, and that's such a sad part of what's happening in the world today. Fernando is watching from Los Angeles, California. Great to see you. And Sonali says she saw Elizabeth Taylor on the TV show The Nanny. She was indeed high class. I can't imagine Elizabeth Taylor on The Nanny, but apparently she was. And that's great. And Maria says, hi, Christina. And Mark says, hello from Durham, North Carolina. I hope, Christina, you had a chance to share and tag on Facebook.
Yes, absolutely.
You're doing that. Sonali says, yay for women empowerment. Kapil says, love the topic for this evening. Cap Sharma, incredible friend. I'm so glad to have him in my life. Geeta says, Carla Barnakas, she's saying, how are you? Nice to know that your sister lives in Memphis. Beauty is within, says Sonali. Reflect on that for a minute.
To me, it's like what you do is from the inside, it just will always shine through. I look at who I think are the most beautiful people in my life, and they're not people necessarily that you would think should be models or cover magazines. True beauty comes from inside and what you want to share and doing good for others. Those are the ones that to me are the most beautiful. And on Mother's Day, you look at your own mother. I look at my own mother as the most beautiful person in the world, because not just, I guess, from the outward beauty, because she is an outward beauty, but her inner beauty is what shines forth and makes the person such a beautiful, beautiful person. So I think all of us should really try to reflect on letting that inner beauty just shine forth. And how do we do that? Well, we help others. We are positive with like what you're doing, Sree, with your show. We are positive and we help others. We do for others. That's really the key.
Yeah, I completely agree. And by the way, I can tell you're a TV producer. As soon as I went to the 2-shot, you started wrapping up your thought. You're ready for the next thing. You're rocking and rolling here. I love it. Thank you so much. Let's show a picture of your mom and get you to talk a little bit more about her. You can.
Yes, I'm peeking. I got to peek the right way. That is my beautiful mom, and she is. I can't say enough. Like goodness, she raised 7 children. She was a nurse, and took care of my dad, took care of us. It seemed like growing up, there was always a baby on her lap because she was just, constantly just always there for all of us. And she still is. Sadly, she's having some issues with her memory right now. And so we're helping her through that. But and we're all there for her the way she's always been there for us. She is just my role model, my inspiration. She had 7 kids, so I followed with 6 kids. I didn't quite catch up to her, but I could never really fill her shoes because she is just so fantastic and so wonderful, and I love her so much. She's just, the most, to me, the most perfect person, perfect mother. I can't say enough how wonderful she is. And me and all my siblings love her and look up to her. We all did a Zoom meeting today and with her, and wished her all a very wonderful Mother's Day. She was looking forward to the day, was going to have an enjoyable dinner cooked by my brother Joe, who's a chef. So we are treating her in style. Sadly, we can't all be together in the same room, but we were glad to just get together and see each other, via the computer screen, which is what people are doing nowadays.
Yes, unfortunately, that is what we have to do, but we do it, and we are able to connect with our family in this new way. Folks, we're about to do our salute to moms, and Christina will be watching as well, but we're going to take her off camera so she can relax for a moment while we do this parade of mom greetings that we got from people around the world. We're so grateful to everybody for participating and doing shout outs to their moms. And this is just a very simple thing that we're going to do. We're going to just show you one mom after another, and you're going to get a chance to hear some of the praise and some of the comments that we did. This is all very informal and all sort of last minute, but we're very grateful to everybody for participating in this and helping us connect these pictures with various mothers, and just a chance for us to connect. I am so grateful to everyone who was able to be here and participate. We did some fundraising, and 50% of the proceeds from these ads are going to go to Nick Kristoff's C19 Impact Initiative. I'm so glad that we have that as an opportunity to share and connect with the world and share and connect Nick's project. Nick is a friend of DigiMentors. He spoke at our social media conference, social media weekend, with his wonderful wife, Cheryl Wu Dunn, and their book, which everybody must read, called Tightrope, and about Americans reaching for hope. Absolutely important that everybody look at that and read it and understand what exactly is going on. So please do check that out. And we are very grateful for Nick for what he's doing. So let me walk through this and show you how we're doing our greetings of various family members. And also at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see some comments and some of the other kinds of shout outs that we got from various family members. So you're going to see that happening as well on the bottom of the screen as we go through this. I am again producing all of this on my own so that we can show you what an amateur looks like. And then when you hire us, you get the pros. So here we go. Our first greeting is to Paula Kiger. Happy Mother's Day from Wayne Tenley and Wayne Kevin. Paula is one of our ace producers, and she is down in Tallahassee, Florida. Happy Mother's Day, Paula. Thank you for everything you do for the world. Happy Mother's Day to Jayashree Unnikrishnan from Rupa Unnikrishnan. Jayashree is Rupa's mom and my mother-in-law, and that's my father-in-law, KV Unnikrishnan, and two of their multiple sets of grandchildren, and that's Durga and Krishna. And we had a wonderful call this morning. She's in Chennai and Rupa's in New York, and we are separated at the moment, as you can see, but we love you and we're super connected in other ways. This is a happy Mother's Day to Sudha Tolia Parekh from Neil Parekh, our executive producer. Sudha is watching right now. Sudha, I know Neil loves you and your family loves you, and you gave Neil a hairstyle that he hasn't changed in let's say, in a few decades. And Sudha, thank you for being a great friend of this show and being on the show multiple times with comments and postings. And we'd love to see as many of you sharing those comments and posts as you're going along here. Thank you so much for being here, folks. I'm so grateful. And happy Mother's Day to my mom, Lekha, from me and my brother, Srikant, who's in Dubai. And this is my mom in Japan with me. You can see she I think really wanted a girl, and I have a bindi on my forehead and very frilly clothes. This was a different era, a different time, and just so grateful to my mom for all the love she's shown me all these years and our family. She's a wonderful dancer and an artist and someone who has helped so many people in the world. And we are so grateful to you, Amma, for being with us. A big happy Mother's Day to Pam Stumpo from Neil and Emily. And this is Neil's wonderful wife and their daughter, Emily. And Pam, thank you for lending us Neil for all our projects and for tolerating all our online shenanigans, to you and Rupa for that tolerance that you show. We also want to wish a happy Mother's Day to Siala Kapanadze from her daughter, Rusudan. We are so happy to wish a happy Mother's Day and greetings. Thank you so much. We also want to bring you greetings to Ruth Edelman. May her memory be a blessing, from her daughter, Renee Edelman. Look at this very, very striking photograph that you're looking at. This was a picture taken in 1992, as Renee told me, of this picture. And she wanted to say, to my darling Mother Ruth, your wisdom, courage, and generosity of spirit inspire me daily. Much love, Renee. And Renee is a great friend of this program. Thank you, Renee, for all you do to make this program successful. Happy Mother's Day to Rupa from Sree, Durga, and Krishna. These kids were able to put together a lovely Mother's Day for Rupa. We did, among other things, the first time we were able to order Indian food in 60 days. Because Rupa is such a great cook, we don't need to order out. In fact, it's only the second meal we've eaten outside in 60 days. We ate once on 50 days, and then today for Mother's Day, we ate that as well. And my kids wanted to say, dear Mom, this family wouldn't survive 1 second without you. We don't always show how much we love you, but we appreciate you and all your love more than anything else. We hope this day is extra special for you, and maybe you can relax for the first time in what seems like forever. You're by far the hardest working person out there. Please take a rest today. Love you so much, Mama, and we love you forever and ever, Durga and Krishna. And so we are so grateful for that. And we love you, Rupa. Happy Mother's Day to Letha Rucker. May her memory be a blessing, from Paula Kiger. Beautiful photo. Look at that. And Paula, thank you. And we know your mom will be so proud of you and everything that you have done as a professional, as a mother, and so much more. Happy Mother's Day to Carol Baranakis from her sister-in-law, Carla Baranakis. And Carla is a great friend of this show. And we are so glad that we're able to do a shout out to her sister-in-law, Carla. And that's interesting, right? Carla and Carla in the same family. And let's see who else we have. And happy Mother's Day to Molly Baranakis. May her memory be a blessing from her daughter, Carla Baranakis. She taught Carla, always hold on to your purse. And as you can see, she's holding on to her purse even at the beach. She knew what to do. We also want to say happy Mother's Day to Mariah Dalbello from Christine, Michael, and all the kids. It's either Maria or Mariah. One of the things we're going to do next time is ask the pronunciations on these ads that we're doing. 50% of the proceeds will go to Nick Kristoff's amazing COVID-19 impact initiative. That's why we're running these ads, so that we can help people. And happy Mother's Day to Sue-Ann Boehm from her sister, Carla Baranakis. Sue-Ann, happy Mother's Day. What a great photograph. I love this, and seeing the whole family in red like that. Happy Mother's Day to Nicole Bolster from her mom, Deborah Kerr. Great photograph, and mom and daughter there. You're seeing lovely, lovely picture, and I love the flowers and all of that put together so beautifully. Thank you, and thank you to Neil Parekh for all the work he did in putting these together. Happy Mother's Day to my sister-in-law, Dr. Deepa Menon. We want to read a note that her son has sent, and he says, every mother is amazing, going through so much in order to ensure their child has a bright and happy future ahead of them. But I think it's safe to say that my mother deserves to be celebrated and held on a pedestal for managing to put up with me. Describing how much you mean to me alone wouldn't do you justice, because your impact in life spreads much further than raising me and Sneha. Thank you, Mom, for being a light in the life of everyone you meet. Please keep being one of the most inspiring, good-natured people I've ever known. I love you, and happy Mother's Day from Hari and Sneha. How beautiful is that? I hope Deepa gets to see this. It's a surprise and just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, from Elizabeth Bernstein. Elizabeth is the relationships columnist at the Wall Street Journal, and she sent us this photograph to wish her mom a happy, happy Mother's Day. And we're so glad that she was able to do that. And she was on my show a couple of Fridays ago. Please go back in YouTube and find that story and that conversation with the director of the Kinsey Institute. Yes, that Kinsey Institute, as they shared what's going on with love and relationships right now under COVID-19. Happy Mother's Day to Norma Burkowski Horowitz. May her memory be a blessing, from her daughter, Rose. And I love this picture, Rose. Rose will be with us in a minute. Maybe if Rose is ready, I'll just have her audio on. And Rose, tell us about this picture. Oh, I promised to just have audio, but there you are. Sorry.
Okay, that's in the backyard where I grew up in Whitestone, Queens, and there's a beautiful tree in the back, a weeping willow that I always loved, and we had a turns, I don't know what it was called, a circle thing that went around to play, and that little dress that I'm wearing, I saved. My mother, like historian, anyway, she saved that dress, and I then finished the lace and things, and my daughter wore it for when she was my age, 3 or 4. So, and my mother looks a little Jackie Kennedy with a dress and the pearls.
She does. Let's see here. We've also got support of someone has sent us a note to send supportive thoughts to moms grieving the loss of their children. We absolutely do think of them as well. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms in our lives. We know the value of all moms in our lives, not just mothers, but grandmothers, aunts, and people who never had children, but were more connected to people as their mother figures than others as well. So thank you very much for everybody who's watching as we just finish up this Mother's Day honor roll, as I call it here. Here from Carla, she took out another ad to say happy Mother's Day to Mary Gisler, my New York mom. She says her New York mom. We're just so grateful to Carla for her support. And I can tell you that Mary Gisler is an amazing lady. I got to know because she was married. She is married to Sig Gisler, who ran the Pulitzer Prizes for a dozen plus years. And Sig Gisler and Mary Gisler are amazing people. And they're mentors of mine and Rupa's. And we want to be them when we grow up. And we were married about 45 years apart on the same day. Our families got married as couples. Happy Mother's Day to S. Mitra Kalita from Naya, Ria, and Nitin. I love this photo, and I love Mitra and her family. Mitra is the godparent, along with Nitin, of our children and of Durga and Krishna. And today we, of course, spoke, and it was very lovely to see them. And we're not able to meet them in person, but we can connect in other ways. Happy Mother's Day, Mitra. And happy Mother's Day to Deepa Menon from Rishi Menon. This is I have two sisters-in-law named Deepa Menon. How confusing can that be? But look at Rishi. That little boy you see there grew up to be a D1 basketball recruit. Doesn't happen that often among Indian American kids, but he is there because of the love of Deepa and her brother and her husband, Rishi's dad, and my brother-in-law, Sreenath. Yes, we're both named Sreenath. How confusing is that in this family? And as you can see, I'm confused as well. But happy Mother's Day to Deepa Menon from Rishi Menon. And to my most beautiful girl in the world, where would any of us be without you? Happy Mother's Day, Robin from Dan. This is a beautiful photograph of Robin Foreman. And Robin's a wonderful friend of the family, and we're so grateful to her and Dan for their friendship. And she's now a grandma. She doesn't look like a grandma, but she is, and she is wonderful. And here we go. Last couple of happy Mother's Day greetings to Hemali Patel from a frequently disobedient but very loving offspring, Arushi and Sam. Arushi took this photograph of Hemali, one of my young oldest friends in the world. And Hemali, happy Mother's Day and lots of love from the Upper West Side. And I am just ready to come back to Christina in just a minute because we are almost done. And this is the last one for now. Happy Mother's Day to Saroj Nair, to a woman who is an inspiration to everyone she meets. Love you, Mom, from Rekha and Vin. Rekha and Vin, thank you for sending this greeting to your wonderful mom, Saroj, who was a nurse for decades in New York, saved thousands of lives, and never stopped smiling. She's in Dallas right now with Rekha, and Rekha was a pediatrician on our show. She is a pediatrician, but she was on our show talking about the medical situation. I am so happy we did this. I am exhausted and tired, but I am so glad, Rose, that we were able to do those. And I think we're ready to bring back Christina. What do you think?
Great.
Let's bring her back.
Great photos.
Okay, here we go. Here's Christina. Hi.
Hi, thank you again. Wow, those are some wonderful Mother's Day pictures. That's just fantastic. You know, there's nothing more generous, more loving than a mother's love. I mean, she just instinctively just knows what's best for her child and just is always very supportive. So those are some great shots, and it's great to honor them today. Absolutely. And thank you so much for being here with us, folks. This is Christina Deyo, 8-time Emmy-award winner. And you can see her positivity just in her smile, which you've heard some of her ideas already. And I'm going to ask Rose to chat with her a little bit. Rose Horowitz is one of our producers. She is a journalist. She is the creator of Women to Follow, hashtag Women to Follow. Everybody follow Women to Follow and follow Rose Horowitz 31. And they're going to have a little conversation, and then we are going to come back and take your questions. We did that for about 14 minutes, by the way. Thank you, everybody, for being with us as we did it. And please tag your friends. Please share as we go back to our conversation with Christina. And Rose has some hard-hitting, tough questions for you, Christina. We're going to throw you a lot of curveballs in here. No, I'm kidding. Thank you for being here. And Rose, over to you.
Okay. Hi, Christina.
Rose, nice to see you.
Great to see you again. Let me ask you what you're doing during this with your 6 children during this lockdown.
Well, it's never easy juggling 6 kids, but now when you're doing it 24/7, it just kind of throws a curveball in the mix and is a little bit difficult. But what I've been trying to do is really make things feel as safe and comfortable as possible for them. As far as their school day is concerned, they're doing at-home learning. I've taken places in the house where they can set up a desk and a little area where they can study and learn. So it feels like a little classroom away from the classroom. And so this way, it doesn't feel like a play area or somewhere else, and they can really concentrate and study. And that's helped a lot. Also, just putting together a routine and making sure, okay, well, we're starting our day at this time. We'll work from this time to this time. And now we have a break time. Although my youngest son, Michael, who's in 2nd grade, tells me every day, he says, Mom, today's Monday, my teacher, Mrs. Somperak, she gives us recess that's double the time. And then Tuesday, we're allowed triple recess. Wednesday, Mom, we're allowed quadruple recess on this day. I said, I need to check with your teacher. He's like, no, Mom, don't do that. So, but getting into a routine is so important. That's helped them a lot as well.
That's great to hear. Did you set up like a teacher, you have pictures with ABCs and things like that, or?
Well, you know what? We have pictures, and some of the older kids are into just, what they're reading. I have 2 that are in 8th grade, and they are doing this virtual slide presentation from a place in the United States that they've had to do. So that was something that they've done a lot of computer time. Some of them are fighting over the computer, so we try to schedule that and make that work as well. But I'm very lucky that it's all seemed to work out. I'm also fortunate that right now, with the business being shut down, that I'm home and I can help them. A lot of times there are parents out there who, are essential personnel, essential workers, and they can't be home with their children. And my hat goes off to them. I salute them because, they're juggling working on front lines, and then they're, at home trying to catch up and help with their kids. So it's a difficult situation. And I really salute those people because, it's not an easy road, but we are doing the best we can. And, like I said, just trying to find the positivity in it, in all of it. That's really important.
Well, thank you. Let me just, to make it real for all of us, tell us the ages of your children. And also, I think your husband is on the front line. So tell us what he does and about your children.
My husband's a police sergeant, so he is at work every day, and I worry for him, but he's doing well, so thankfully that's going well. I have 5 girls, and then I have a son. So my oldest daughter is 22, and then I have my daughter Caroline, who just turned 20 on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. And then my daughter Pauline is in high school. She's 17. And then I have Gemma and Rebecca. Gemma just turned, sometimes it's like when you have 6 kids, it's like, how old are they now? You barely can remember their names, but Gemma just turned 15. Rebecca's going to turn 14. And then my son Michael's in 2nd grade, and he is 8 years old. So it's a full house. I mean, they're not young toddlers. But certainly self-sufficient ages, which helps me. But we're getting through it, and we're doing well, and we're working really hard at it. It's not always easy, but I really value the time that we've had here as a family and being home. I know I saw this. Somebody was writing something on Facebook that said, the next go around of the pandemic, do we have to stay with the same family, or can we trade them in? And, I would keep my family. I think they're wonderful. And I've loved the way that, we really have just been there for one another and listening to each other's stories and just reconnecting. We've been, we're in this hustle and bustle of a world where everybody's busy, and I'm running to work, and I'm in sports, and I have this project, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And, for the first time, there was really not anything that we could need it to do or be except home and be with one another. And by doing that, it was really wonderful to just connect with the kids and have them ask questions. And, when I would cook for them, and we did a lot of cooking and I let them cook, they'd ask me, where did this recipe come from? And what was wonderful is that most of the recipes were from my mom, who learned from her mom. So it's a generational thing. Here we're connected from our families from generation to generation. My mom is of Slovak descent, so I'm making stuffed cabbage and, lupki and just delicious dishes. And I'm teaching my children pierogies, and I'm making them, and I'm sharing the recipes with them. My dad's Italian, making delicious homemade gravy, homemade pastas, homemade bread. So, I'm teaching that with the children, and there's this connection that's not just within our own family, but yet with their ancestors, which is like a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I encourage everybody to try to find the silver lining in whatever is getting you down, whether it's this pandemic, whether you're just having a hard time in your life with something. There is a silver lining to everything, and just look for it. You will find it, and then dwell on that instead of dwelling on the negativity and what's bringing you down. Dwell on, where is the silver lining? Even if it's a tiny, small little bit, hold on to that, grab onto that, and really think about that.
That's great. Thank you. I think you said to me, we spoke before, that some of your kids have asked you questions that that there's no time for, or that they're finding time to ask? Like what are some of those things?
Well, what was interesting is that the kids will ask me stories. They're like, Mom, tell me a story. And, I always try to be creative, and I come up with like kind of way out there stories. And the kids have in the past always enjoyed them. But lately they've been saying to me, Mom, tell me about when you were little. Tell me about, what happened in school, or tell me about, we want to know more about you. And so my kids during this, this stretch of time that we've been home, I think, they know more about me than I even can remember myself, because I've been telling them so many wonderful stories, just about, I remember a simple time when I was in grammar school and I ordered lunch. We didn't order lunch that much. We just, my parents made lunch, packed a sack lunch, and that was it. But the one time, like Fridays, we were allowed to buy lunch because it was pizza day. And I remember getting a snack, which was a bag of barbecue potato chips. That was my all-time favorite snack. I think it was a dime. That's probably telling my age. But I remember opening that bag of barbecue potato chips, just mouth watering, couldn't wait to sink my teeth in it. And I opened it up, and instead of barbecue potato chips, it was plain potato chips. The bag said barbecue, but inside it was plain. I wanted to start a revolution. How do they do this to my potato chips, my favorite potato chips? And I can remember that so well. And I tell my kids about that. And so they always are like, whenever they see barbecue potato chips now, they're like, Mom, here's barbecue potato chips. You love them. You love them. So just something, simple like that, and then when they tell me, Mom, tell me a story, and I'll start to tell them the barbecue potato chip story, they're like, Mom, you told us that one. Tell us another one. So yeah, just simple things, but they want to hear about them, which is wonderful. They're interested. They're interested in, how I lived life, how I got through things. And it's important for us to kind of share that with our children, whether it was a happy time, a rough time, if it was a rough time, share how you got through it. We tell our kids all the time, you're living history right now, what you're going through. And so, you're just going to get through it and do the best you can.
Thank you. Can you tell us something about, how you started? What made you start in television?
Well, I knew from a young child that I wanted to work in television. I think I was 7 years old, and we were on a family trip, and we were driving home, and my mom just asked all 7 kids of all of us, what do you want to be when you grow up? Does anybody know what you want to be? And like the kids are thinking. And I said, I want to be a TV producer. That's what I want to be. And my mom was like, really? Well, as all moms are, super, super supportive. Well, you can do anything and be anything you want, except I had one slight problem. I was so shy. I was afraid of my own shadow. And, I really needed to overcome that. And so I think maybe when I was in high school, I ended up going to an all-girls high school. And I think that really kind of let me come out of my shell a little bit. And, and I just never stopped wanting to work in television. I ended up then taking classes in writing and script writing. In college, the same thing, took TV courses, TV classes. As a matter of fact, my first day of college, the professor said, you know what, out of everybody in this classroom, and it was a lecture hall, maybe 300 people in the room, he said, only 3 of you will end up making it in the profession that you choose in communication, because it is highly competitive. And all I could think about all day was, how do I become one of those 3? So I went up to the professor and I asked him after the class, how do I become one of the 3? And he's like, well, you've already exhibited one of the things. You need 3 things. You've exhibited 1. I said, really? I don't know what it is, but I'll check it off the list. 2 more to go. He said, well, wait, the first one is that, you have to have such a passion and desire for wanting to do it. And he said, the fact that you came up to me after class shows me that you have that passion and desire. So I was happy to hear that. And he said, you have to love the job so much. You have to love it from day one to the last day that, before you retire. You have to have that interest, that strong interest. Just always keep that. And, loving the job, I loved it so much. My first day of job was an internship where it was, free, and you're not getting paid for it or anything like that. But I was just so happy. It was a local station. It was actually the station that I'm where I met Bob Hope and Elizabeth Taylor. I ended up getting hired there. And, the professor said, the third thing you need to do is just be consistent with your desire for that particular field. And by being consistent, it means you're giving 100% every day, day in, day out. And so I really took that to heart. And I was glad that I had that passion. I knew it was never going to leave me, because that's really what I've always wanted to do. And so a career in television, was something that I aspired to from a young girl. And, yes, I'm an 8-time Emmy-award winning producer. I've got a Gracie Award. I've got a James Beard Award. But, out of all those awards, I'm happy and honored to have them. But of course, the best award for me is the title of mother on this Mother's Day. I'm so thrilled and so proud of my 6 children. They make me happy and they make me smile. And of course, I don't want to leave out my husband, because my husband is a wonderful guy, and I'll sing his praises for the Father's Day show. But everybody in my life has kind of planted a seed to who I am today. But probably nobody more than my own mother, who is such a great example and terrific cook, and just somebody who loves us unconditionally. My 7 brothers and sisters and I, we weren't an easy bunch. We all had our different personalities. Some were crazier than others. Some took risks. Some were quiet and shy. But she, found it in her heart to love each and every one of us. So I guess all mothers do. But she just seemed to go above and beyond.
And that experience made you want to have 6 children? Because some people might say, oh, well, after having, that many siblings, I want 1 or 2, I want to have 1 or 2 children.
Well, I kind of always wanted to be like my mom. So initially, I remember when my husband and I were dating and then engaged, I remember saying to him, 5 kids sound like a good number. And he was like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, 5 seemed good. And then we just were open to, whatever God would send us. We just, were open to and took, and we had 5 girls. And I thought that, maybe we were done having kids. I mean, 5 girls, certainly very happy with that. And everybody was like, well, aren't you trying for the boy? Aren't you trying for the boy? And, lo and behold, surprisingly, I found out I was pregnant with my 6th child. My husband said to me, should we find out, this, because none of them, they were all surprises. He said, should we find out? Or I think I asked him, do you want to find out? And he said, I know it's another girl. There's no need to find out. So when the doctor said, it's a boy, the first words I said were, could you double check? I just couldn't believe it. I never heard the words, it's a boy, before. But, no, I wasn't trying until I had the boy, and then I could stop. I was just blessed with 6 children. I'm so happy that I have them all. And, some days are harder than others. Some periods of time are more challenging than others, but the rewards are what keep, I think, all of us moms going, and I look back, I've been looking back at some of their baby pictures because we've had some birthdays and we were putting together some little videos, and it's amazing at, how they've grown and how wonderful they are. And I do feel very, very blessed.
That's great. Thank you.
Folks, I just want to step in here. This is such a fabulous conversation. We're all just mesmerized. There's so many comments coming in. Thank you, both of you. Let's keep going, but I just want to read you some of the comments if that's okay. Christina, thank you. Do you have a little more time for us?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So let's just see where we are. We had a question here. Ask Christina and Rose, how can we cope with COVID even better with greater positivity? So this is Rick Botello would like both of you to answer. So let's put Rose on the spot and ask her first, and then we'll go to Christina.
Well, I guess taking a cue from Sree, that if you can handle it, try something new at this time. With this, some of us have extra time. If you have extra time, write the poem you've always wanted to write, or call the relatives that you never get a chance to speak to, or learn how to go back to playing piano and seeing, if you remember it, and learn it again. So if you have this sort of a gift of time, if you're healthy, and I guess just to take each day one at a time, and find the good in everything you can, despite what's going on that is so difficult and horrible. So.
I agree with that. I was talking about finding the silver lining in things, and it's finding that, my daughter Gemma turned 15 a few weeks ago, and she was really, really sad about turning 15, and I couldn't understand why. And she was like, Mom, this is going to be the worst birthday ever. We're in quarantine, and, I just feel like I can't be with my friends. This is just going to be really hard, and it's going to be the worst birthday. And, it got us all being creative and thinking, well, how can we turn this event into like, a special birthday instead of like a sad one? And so I, thought, well, she had a favorite TV show. I was able to contact the producer, and the TV show, they sent her a little video message wishing her a happy birthday. Her sister got all the relatives and all her friends to make a video wishing her a happy birthday. We got her some wonderful gifts. We made her favorite ice cream cake for her birthday. And so she, at the end of the day, was like, Mom, this was the best birthday I ever had. So, sometimes it might just take a little extra work, but again, just, find that silver lining, find out what you can do to kind of share that positivity or make others happy, and just do it. And, like Rose was saying, trying something new, going out of your comfort zone, by all means, try that.
Thank you. What 2 great ideas, Rick. I hope that helped. Mark says, I do way out stories too, like stories that take on the personality of the animals I see. My few friends who have heard these stories are not sure I'm sane. Kavita says, Kavita is watching from New York. Happy Mother's Day to all lovely moms on the panel and to all who are reading this. Absolutely. Alan Katz is watching, says, hi, Rose. Happy Mother's Day. Tell him next time to take out an ad, Rose. That's how we should do it. I know you had a beautiful Mother's Day because you posted on Facebook all the great things that Alan and the family did. And by the way, folks, go back in my archives on YouTube and search and find Alan, who hosted superstar book authors, children's book authors, and we laughed and laughed. Rose, what was that? Like 4 or 5 Saturdays ago now? It all seems a lifetime ago, and we had such a great time.
Alan worked with Christina, so they know each other well on the Rosie O'Donnell Show.
Amazing.
So maybe you could tell me a secret about him at some point that I.
Alan made us laugh every day, so you already know that one.
The secret says, good morning, Christina and Rose. And Renee says, hi, Rose Edelman. Hi, Rose Horowitz. And the secret also says, namaste. The secret is watching from Jharkhand in India. And Kavita says to Rose, love your smile, lights up the surroundings. And Rick says, I can't help noticing Rose's listening mode of smiling, a positive effect on positivity. It is infectious. Spread the joy. Rose, you're getting all these fans. I love it. Mark is a dear friend of mine who, like me, has never had kids, is a great TV producer who's an amazing auntie and has written great children's books, Katina Rankin. And that's great. I have an aunt who had 6 kids, same amount, 5 daughters and a son. Son is next to the youngest. She's still living, and only one of her 2 kids passed away. My aunt is making homemade masks. I have 2 of them. If I'm counting right, she has 25 grandkids. That's incredible. Twyla is watching. Twyla, who bought out a couple of ads to thank her friends and people in her life and wish Happy Mother's Day. Thank you very much, Twyla, for being an amazing friend to all of us. And Corona has definitely made time for my family, one bright light. Ashish says, hi, family. Hi, panelists. And Stefan says, hi, Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Rose. And Vandana found a link to that children's book author show. Thank you. What a great producer Vandana is. And so you can go back and watch that as well. This is why we do this show, folks, so that we can connect and share our story with the world and learn from each other. And I hope you're doing that right now. We hope you're sharing. We have a few minutes left. I know that Rose has some more questions for Christina. And we do have, so we just want to show again those pictures that we had gotten earlier. There was one picture that we showed earlier of Rose with her, of Christina, sorry, with her mom. And then here's a picture with Bob Rose. For Bob, with Bob Hope, I'm sorry. Clearly Sunday night's getting to me, but if somebody hasn't seen this yet, explain the background of this photograph, please.
Yes, well, Bob Hope was on a local morning show. He was promoting a book. We were taping in Secaucus, New Jersey, the good old Channel 9 building. It was WWOR TV. And I was lucky enough to work on this program. And after the show, took a picture with Bob Hope, who probably said about 3 or 4 jokes as we were lining up for the picture just to make me laugh. Was just super, super courteous, super funny, just such a really, really nice guy. I was so in awe of such a superstar working with Bob Hope on that project for the show, promoting his book. It was a great experience, especially for I was just out of college. I was a young kid just starting off my career, and boom, I'm thrown in a room with Bob Hope. And then a week later, it's like, boom, you're thrown in a room with Elizabeth Taylor. So, it was a great way to get your feet wet in television.
Sure. Twyla says that she was sending out greetings to her mother and her sister. Thank you, Twyla. Twyla says Bob Hope asked him to get him a TV once. And Twyla is full of stories. We've got to get Twyla on the show, Rose, for her to share some of her stories, because she's amazing. And Carla asks Christina, do you think television will be changed after the pandemic is over?
Well, it definitely is going to change. It's amazing to me now how everybody is filming TV shows from their home. News specials, anchors are reporting from their home. Talk shows are producing from their own home in their own living rooms. A lot of my TV friends are telling me about this, and I'm like, wow, you don't even have to show up for work. Just stay home. It's been working out great. I also think, with the messaging, I think we're going to see a lot of positive, more positive messages. We don't want to go down any negative road. So I think you're going to see TV shows that that are a little more uplifting. At least I hope so.
Yeah, that's great. A question about old time TV. What's your favorite old TV show? I've had many, but what are yours?
Oh, I love so many. One that comes to mind is the Brady Bunch. I love the Brady Bunch because, we would compare with my siblings and the Brady Bunch siblings. So I love the Brady Bunch. I Love Lucy would make me laugh all the time. I watched a lot of television. I think that's why I decided I wanted to go into TV, the Andy Griffith Show. And now, being able to even watch those reruns on the classics, it's amazing. And you kind of pick up things you didn't realize as a kid that you were watching. And, my kids, when they watch cartoons, there's all the different like Nick programs, Nickelodeon. My kids have a hard time understanding that when I was a child, it was Saturday morning cartoons and that was it. You could like watch TV Saturday, only time the cartoons were on.
Yeah, and that was certainly the way a lot of us grew up. And there was like the babysitter too, wasn't it?
Well, absolutely. But of course, with my mom and dad, they were a little bit strict. We couldn't really watch too much TV. We did have a limit on things. And it was a lot of outdoor playing, which again is hard for kids to understand, because they're on the computer and they're in front of the TV. And when you say, well, okay, let's do some outside time, that some of my favorite movie moments in time growing up were, outside playing kickball, hanging with the neighborhood friends, with my brothers and sisters, Joe and I playing kickball with Susan and Lawrence, in the backyard, playing tennis. Like those were my favorite memories. And, a lot of the kids today, when you ask them, what's a favorite memory, sometimes it's hard for them to realize which favorite memory they have because they're constantly, playing computer games or watching TV.
That's absolutely right. Twyla says, how cool, Christina. And she asks, how do you think shows like Tamron Hall work in this time?
Well, I have friends that are working on the Tamron Hall show, and they're all working from home. They're producing television from home. They're booking from home. They're taping it from home, via the internet. I mean, there's a lot of great things that social media and the computer does. Here I'm telling everybody go outside and play, but there's a lot of good that, like your program, Sree, right now, a lot of good that comes from it, but there is a limit. And so that's the kind of thing that you have to watch for, especially as a parent. But, shows like the Tamron Hall show, they're doing well. And those are the shows that are going to, continue going on. And I think really facing, and doing more uplifting programming.
I think that's absolutely right and very important for all of us to understand. By the way, look at this nice greeting from our friend Renee Edelman, who says, to Rose, Vandana, and Sree, congrats on your 60th daily COVID-19 show. Most anniversaries, they take a year and obviously 20 years, 30 years, etc. We just had our 50th show 10 days ago, and we didn't have time to make a fuss about the 60th. But 75 is coming out, 15 days from now. So in 2 weeks. I mean,
usually they have a big cake. They bring out a big cake. So maybe for the 75th, we'll bake you one up.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Rick says, one idea for escalating positivity: learn, lead, and innovate and amplify how to thrive in overcoming COVID stresses. Can you help to launch Cope with COVID, the hashtag movement? Connect via LinkedIn if interested. So everyone check out Rick Botello and you learn about his Cope with COVID movement that he's launching. And then Twyla says, I'm older than all of you added together, and definitely playing outside was the best. And Mark says, even The View is doing shows from home. And do you think we used our imagination maybe a little more than the kids of this generation do?
I don't know. That's a tough one, because I know when we were younger, we didn't have as much to kind of fill those gaps. You were outside, you were reading books. I mean, there were things that you could think of to pass the time or create. And today it seems like everything is kind of being force-fed or given to you, whether it's through TV or the internet. So I kind of think that we were a little more creative and imaginative when we were kids. But then, of course, I want to leave some hope for today's generation. And I think, that's where the silver lining in all of this is taking place, because the kids can't go out. They, can't go to stores. They can't go to the mall. I'm talking about teens and such. And they have to be creative and imaginative and think of other and new things to do. So I think they're giving us a run for our money.
Yeah, I think you're right. Folks, we're almost out of time with Christina. We want Rose to make sure if she has another question to get that in before we go. Rose, as you know, is our producer and also creator of the Women to Follow hashtag. And I hope you will all follow that and follow her at Rose Horowitz 31. So Rose, a final question for Christina.
Okay. A tough one, but I know that you were on the Jesse Raphael show. You were on the Martha Stewart show, producer. You were on the Rosie O'Donnell show. I know the Rosie O'Donnell show was live. And
yeah.
I know that because there you are with Rosie. And I think there's a picture we have and there with Martha Stewart. I got to see her garden once in Westport. But anyway, what would you say, like, what was one of the most unexpected funny moments that you just, you were going live and X happened?
Well, it's funny because it actually involves both of those women, Martha Stewart and Rosie O'Donnell. I was producing Martha on Rosie. And I think it even was Alan who had written a song parody, a crafting song parody. And he
wrote many. So
yes. Yeah. It went like, anything you can craft, I can craft better. And so I asked Martha's people, would she sing with Rosie on the show? And Martha's people were like, oh, no, she wouldn't do that. And I was not giving up. I said, you know what? I'm going to ask Martha when she gets here. So Martha comes in, she's getting her hair blown out. And I remember going in and I'm saying, hi, Martha, we're so happy that you're going to be on the show, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, there's this song, and I gave her the words. It was printed out on a sheet and I gave it to her. And she looked at me and she's like, I don't think I know this song. And so there I am singing it in front of her. And she's like, no, that's silly. I don't think I would do that. And I was like, no, it would be fun. It would be a great moment. And then the hairdresser, David Evangelista, starts singing the parts with me. And we're doing a duet in front of Martha. And the next thing I know, Martha, just to shut us up, was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Okay, fine, I'll do it. And it ended up being one of the most classic, most fun moments on the show. And it was down to the wire because we didn't think she was going to pull it off, but she did. And of course, Rosie did. And it was funny. And it was just, it was a fun highlight. So there were so many great moments and memories working on that show. Everything always just fell into place. It was just it was like a magical time.
That's terrific. That's really great. Great to hear. We're seeing a lot of live, but I know that my son went live. He was on the Rosie O'Donnell show. Do you remember this, Andrew, the suit boy?
Yes, absolutely.
And I was in the audience, couldn't believe that he was going to come out from the curtain, at 4, he was 4 years old, and he spent 10 minutes with Rosie. So I mean, live TV is just, it's really great, and it was magic to see it happen. So, and
I would produce a lot of the kid chat segments.
Yeah.
And you never really knew what a kid was going to say, or Rosie for that matter. And we just had the funniest kid chats, because kids will say and do anything. And, I remember one time the one kid, we were trying to wrap up the segment, and the kid was so into talking to Rosie. He said, Rosie, don't you want to see my worm dance? And so there he just starts doing the worm, and he's going over the television wires, and Rosie's laughing and I'm laughing. And it was such a funny moment.
That's great. Let me ask you, what would you say, as a woman to follow, would be your advice for young people wanting to go into television production or being on air? Or tell us.
I am a firm believer that, where there's a will, there's a way. And I will say, as a woman, I faced many obstacles, mostly as a working mom. Could I juggle it? Could I find a way? Working at Rosie, she made it very easy for working women because she had a daycare at her studio. So that made it very easy. When I left Rosie and I went to work at Martha Stewart, I remember Rosie saying to me, I thanked her for the daycare, and she said to me, just pay it forward, just pay it forward. And I kept thinking, well, how can I pay it forward? Because, she was able to create a whole nursery. I don't really have that power. But when I went to work at Martha Stewart, I was in a senior position role, and I had some working moms who asked me, could I work from home on this day? Could I work from home 2 days a week? And I did have the power to say yes to that. And, I often found that working moms are the hardest working producers that there are. So never once think that you can't do something. I do think where there's a will, there's a way. And, as a working mom, to show your child that you could have it all. You can work, you can be a mom. That's another great gift you can give your child.
That's terrific. It's very inspiring. Thank you.
Let me read this tweet that was based off of what you said, Christina. I've won 8 Emmy Awards, but the biggest achievement will always be being a mother to 6 children. So we have a photograph to commemorate that great tweet. Here it is. Tell us what is going on here. This looks like the set of Titanic.
Oh, yes, you are correct. We were.
Wait, are you serious? It is the set of Titanic?
I am saying, yes, it was. It's actually at the Titanic Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. My family, this was right before we moved to Tennessee, and we came, and it was just one of the attractions that is filled with great history. And so we went to visit it and took a picture in front of it. This was probably, I want to say, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And, just seeing the whole family having a great time. We knew that, Tennessee was going to be our home because we just felt so much like family here. It was so family friendly. But yeah, this was a really fun moment. And again, a moment when the family's together, like these times right now that are tough. Finding, the silver lining in being together, making each other laugh, telling stories, take advantage of this time. We're probably never going to have a time like this, hopefully, in our lifetime, another pandemic. But so take this time and really take advantage of it. Be with your family, enjoy the moment. If you're struggling teaching your kid at-home learning, just take a breath. It's going to be okay. You can get through it. We can get through anything. We got through 9/11 in New York. I was in New York during that time. You hit rough spots, but you know what? There's always a time when you could just breathe. It's going to come. It's going to pass, and you'll get through it.
Thank you. What inspiration for all of us. Thank you very much. Mark says, would love to have you on my podcast, Christina. How can I find you? So generally, how can people find you? Talk about your contact information, your website,
sure.
all of that stuff.
Well, we here in Tennessee have Cook and Craft Academy, and we have a website. It's cookandcraftacademy.com. We have a Facebook page.
Cook, space, and space, craft.
It's Cook, the letter N as in nice, craftacademy.com. All one word, Cook and Craft Academy. And so you can find us there. You can find us on our Facebook page, or you can even just, give us a call. Our number, Cook and Craft Academy in Tennessee. It's listed. Google Cooking and Crafting in Tennessee will pop up.
That's great. I'm so glad to.
And she has a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Sree.
Yeah.
And I saw that I could even do this with, I think you said it's for people 2 to 99, and my family fits in there. And it was a way to do tie-dye without the mess of tie-dye. And it's you had it using
Sharpies and permanent markers.
Spray them with alcohol, and it makes it, go all over. So that sounds like a lot of fun.
One of the things that Mark points out, that now we have 2 people associated with Martha Stewart connected to the show, Christina, our guest, and then one of our sponsors, Ron Thomas of the New York Times Read Along. He's also been a guest, worked with her company. So that's pretty neat. And I hope, Mark, you send that to Ron. Susanna says, another great show. Susanna's watching from Mexico. And I do want to ask you one thing before you go, in terms of how you think about the only reason we hear about Rosie a little bit these days is because of, well, first of all, she was great in that TV show that I caught a little bit of on Showtime. She played the mother of of a comedy show, in a comedy show. But you also hear when President Trump candidate Trump had a run-in with Rosie, that without getting political, what was the nature of that? Was that something anybody cares about? Does Rosie care at all?
Oh, well, Rosie's very politically motivated. I mean, she really cares and wants the right thing done for her country. I think that's how we all feels. We want, only to see our country just in the right, headed in the right direction. So that's definitely important. But I people always will ask me stories about Rosie, about Martha Stewart, and often sometimes oh well, their political affiliation might change people's mind, and I always tell people don't really look at what their political motivations are, because it's what's really inside. We were talking about the beauty inside, and Rosie, she was the one that really stood up for working mothers and created that working nursery in Rockefeller Center for all of us working moms, so we could have it all. And so I often tell people, because in down south, people sometimes kind of turn their head and say, well, how does she think this way or think that way? And I say, let's take politics out of the mix, because the beauty of her heart was that she is there for people. She wants to see the best in people. And that's what we were all motivated to do on the show. We wanted, Rosie gave a lot of gifts out to people on the show. And that's what we were always aiming to do, is make people feel good, just like you're doing, Sree, with your show. Make people feel positive, make people feel happier, inspire people to do the right thing. Rosie was always doing the right thing, and we want to inspire people to feel that way and to do that way and spread that sunshine to people. I'll never forget, it was the end of a season. We had one show left. And the magic of fate and the magic of television, we were scrambling for what we called a human interest guest. So a non-celebrity, somebody who could just come on and tell their story. And we had 1,001 tapes that were sent in. Oh, put this person on the show, put this person on the show. And so it was the day before, and we literally just pulled out the first tape I pulled out. I put in the machine, and it was about this boy named Jared and his joy cart. He had cancer, and all he cared about was cheering up other cancer patients and giving them toys. And he had it was called a joy cart, but there were toys on the joy cart, and he would get his own birthday gifts or tell people to give gifts, and he would give them to the cancer patients. And we were able to book him for that last show, and he was one of the most memorable guests I ever produced in all the shows I've ever worked for. He was so inspiring. We ended up booking him on Rosie many more times. Sadly, he lost his battle to cancer, but I still stay in touch with his family, and they're still doing good works in his memory. And that's what this is all about. Working in television for me, it's about spreading positive messages. I remember working on some shows, especially with Sally Jesse Raphael, having a boss say, well, you need a show that's going to really drum up ratings. And that might be a show that you're not so proud of. Well, I couldn't do that. To me, it was all about always being positive and finding a way to get ratings with positive stories behind it. And I'm hoping that that's, the direction we will all constantly go forward in, moving forward, and that we've learned a lot from this pandemic and everything that we've been through, that it will all be positive. And that's why I applaud you, Sree, with what you're doing here, because a lot of people don't want to do things that, are so positive because they're not scandalous and they're not getting ratings. And, I say, what, you can get ratings with positive, inspiring, and uplifting shows, and let's have more of it.
Thank you so much. I love hearing that. JP says, great show. Thanks all. Twyla says, Rosie has been financially generous. Thanks for props to Rosie. Mark says, what an amazing story. And Deepa Menon, my sister-in-law, former guest on our New York Times Read Along. We love you. She says, what an inspiring guest. And she's talking about you, Christina. Thank you so much. We're very, very grateful. Mark, by the way, is going to have Andrew Hacker on his show. Andrew was a guest on the New York Times Read Along. And so I hope you folks will have a chance to follow up. Look at all these great comments coming in from everywhere. And Nitin says, I'm sure Sree is getting global high ratings. The ratings, there is no such thing, but we truly appreciate everyone watching. Here are a couple of things.
Is it sweeps month, right?
Yeah, exactly. That means we've got to put on something scandalous. So send me some scandalous stuff, folks.
Uplifting scandalous. Uplifting scandalous.
Yes, that's right. Uplifting scandalous. I'll just say before I say goodbye to both of you that I've learned so much today. And for everybody who ever complains about having their kids at home now, think about this mom with 6 children at home and still being so smiley and friendly and warm. And it really comes through the screen. You're amazing, Christina. Thank you. And thank you to Rose Horowitz for bringing us together. Christina, one more time, how people can find you and what they should be watching out for. What are you working on in the next couple of months?
Well, for those who are local, we have our cooking and crafting. We're not, our school, we're not open just yet, but we will be, following all guidelines and just waiting to open up. So for you who are local, watch for that. But, check us out on our YouTube, Crafty Christina channel on YouTube, and otherwise www.cookandcraftacademy.com. We will have lots of fun ideas, our blog, lots of fun stories. I love to hear from you too. So, send questions, send ideas, and we'll look forward to it.
That's great. Thank you so much. What are you doing the rest of the night?
I'm probably going to go take a nice bubble bath, relax the rest of the night. And just kind of enjoy family, although I think they might be getting ready for bed. So I'll go, kind of thank them again for a wonderful day. They made me breakfast. They made me a nice dinner. Everybody was just so wonderful and generous with I have to just quickly show you. I got a card from the kids, this huge Mother's Day card. To me, one of the most valuable gifts are the homemade letters that I get and the homemade gifts. As a mom, one of the things that I've done, and this is just a quick idea for moms out there, is each of my kids have a box, what I call a memory box, and it's a huge box. And I save their letters, their report cards, anything that's important, and cards and letters that they've gotten for birthdays, and I put them in each of their boxes. And when they're a lot older, I'm going to present them with their box with all their memories inside of photos and their homemade cards. Well, a lot of these homemade cards I don't want to give up, and I take photos of them, so I have that too. But they'll each get their memory box. But I treasure all those beautiful homemade cards. To me, it's the best gift a mother could have.
Oh, wow. That is such a great idea. We live in small apartments in Manhattan, not so easy to have big memory boxes, but we are truly, truly grateful to you, Christina. Are you bringing your kids over? What's going on?
Yeah, some of them are here. Well, the 3 youngest are here. I'll have them quickly say hello. This is Gemma.
Hi.
Let's get a nice photo of everybody. Gather around. Oh, look at this. Tell everybody to smile and look at the camera. We are so happy that you're here with us, and thank you very, very much. Here we go. Ready? Everybody smile. 1, 2, 3. Nice. And tell us, kids, your favorite thing about your mom.
She's a hard worker, and she inspires us.
That she's kind and she helps us cook and everything like that.
That she's loving and caring.
Okay, now pretend she's not here. Now tell us the real truth.
A little bit crazy.
I'm only there for the food.
Michael.
All right, give her a kiss. Let's see you give her a kiss.
Love you guys.
What great kids. We love that. Thank you so much. Very few kids would do that, Christina, on TV. They would be like, no thanks, but you raised good kids and you taught them well. So thank you.
No, well, we tried.
Anything you want to leave us with? Anything you want to leave us with?
Yes, first of all, I want to just say thank you to, you, Sree, and to Rose for a wonderful, fun evening. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Look at your other baby.
I have a young little Daisy dog here too. We just got a dog a few months ago, which was a first for us because one of my daughters had very bad allergies, but it's all seemed to work out. So, but again, I just encourage all women to, remember where there's a will, there's a way. You can do this. We're all in it together. We're all there to help one another. You can do this. Remember to always find the silver lining in no matter what you're facing. There's something that you can hold on to, some kind of thread to get you through the difficult time and, kind of get you to the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel. Remember, there's a big pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and we're all headed there.
All right. Mark says, what a beautiful moment. Do any of them want to go into television?
Actually, yes. My daughter Gemma wants to go into actually theater, which is not quite television. Well, I guess it's a form of it. It's the same family. My oldest daughter, Grace, for the longest time wanted to go into TV, but then kind of changed her mind. So we'll see. I mean, the one thing as a mom that I encourage the kids is to try all new things, and really whatever they want to do, they can do. My mom, when I told my mom at 7 years old, I want to go in television, it was really unheard of to think of, a female TV producer. But my mom was so supportive of me in reaching all my dreams. I used to have a radio show when I was in college. It was a Saturday night showgram radio show. My mom stayed up. She listened to every episode, would give me feedback, was always supportive. And so I try to do that with my kids, to let them find their way, find what they want, and just constantly encourage them and let them know they can reach for the stars, they can do whatever they want. But I tell them that whatever job or career they want, they should try to find a profession where it feels like not even a job, that it feels like something really fun, that they wouldn't mind doing it if they weren't getting paid. Because then it's truly, truly a profession of love and not just a job.
Wonderful. Tell us this young person's name.
This is Michael. He's my boy in second grade, and he's really excited. He's almost done with school because, here in the South, they kind of wrap up at the end of May, which I'm still trying to get used to because I am a New Yorker at heart, and I'm used to, the kids kind of going through till June and then starting up after Labor Day. But here they wrap up in May and they start up in August. So I'm trying to get used to that schedule.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Like college.
Yeah. Let's just show you that photograph we took of everybody. Here we go. There's everyone. That looks so nice. And this also shows you a little bit of what the back end of StreamYard, the tool we look. All the comments come here on the side. You can see that. And then these are the different camera views I can bring, right? You can see close up, single shot, etc. And that's really nice to see all of you. Thank you guys for being there, for supporting your mom in this way. I know she appreciates it. And we'll let you go, Christina, and go get that bubble bath.
All righty. Thank you again. Have a wonderful night.
Yeah, thank you. And one of the things you will hear me do, Christina, that's going to be weird is that I always reintroduce the guest, because people join us, throughout the show, and we just want to say, give them a reason to rewatch the recording, which will go live as soon as we're off the air. So we're going to reintroduce you as you step off. So thanks very much, everybody. Wave, say bye. Say
have a great night. Happy Mother's Day.
All right. Wasn't she amazing, Rose? That
was
great. Another great booking by Rose Horowitz. That's
Thank you. Thank you.
Producer, I'm going to say, let's remind everybody what we're going to be doing next Sunday. We are going to be visiting with Natalie Nixon in our positivity episode. That's going to be number 66. and she is going to be here to talk about positivity. She's the author, speaker, and strategist. Her new book is called The Creativity Leap, and she's on at Nat W. Nixon, and figure8thinking.com is her website. So definitely check her out. And let's reintroduce our guest that they just saw. Christina Deyo is an Emmy-award-winning, 8-time Emmy-award-winning producer, the Martha Stewart Show, Rosie O'Donnell Show, and she's the chef and co-owner of Cook and Craft Academy, and she is a dynamo, as we just heard and saw, and she's the mother of 6 children and a dog. That's the last thing that house needs, but there she was. She went and got that dog, and the family, what a delight to spend time with her and her kids. We hope she gets time for that bubble bath tonight. Rose, what's on your agenda? We have a quick meeting after this, but after that, what is your plan?
I will try to wind down. I am, this late, I got to get a little wired. So the kids go to sleep and they're like, okay, Mom, see you. But I've got to, like she said, thank them for a really wonderful day. They made me pancakes with berries for breakfast. And for dinner, I was actually busy with Christina on, producing, finding out, getting pictures and asking her stuff. So they were like waiting for me to either to give them a signal on whether we were going to have dinner at home but they made dinner at home, and we had some nice dessert, and one of my sons has been live on his show. So busy house, but they really, and my other son is not here. We had Zoom calls with him. So great day.
That's awesome. Your kids and your husband have been part of the show, it feels like, because they've been helping, and Alan's been on the show and helping produce it. So that's great. JP says, profession of love. Deepa says, thank you for a very positive show. And Deepa says, great job, Rose Horowitz. And that's really cool. And we want to thank Vandana Menon and our other producer. So Rose, I'm going to take you off for a minute while I finish our
thank you so much.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. 60 days. Can you believe it?
Too long.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for watching. I have one more Mother's Day greeting that came in under the wire, so we want to show that greeting to you. Our friend Arlene Schulman has a greeting that we're going to show you here in a minute. I hope you can see that beautiful photograph there, and I'm going to read you the description she sent for me to share with all of you. A very happy Mother's Day to my nanny, my grandmother from Janina in Greece, who endured my incessant questions and loved being a grandmother. How lovely is that? Thank you, Arlene. I love this photograph. This is just really, really sweet picture. A very happy Mother's Day to Noni. And she was from Janina in Greece. And Arlene is a dear friend and great supporter of all our online shenanigans. And she is watching from Inwood, New York. And this was our attempt today to pay tribute to all these great mothers. So we're going to just kind of scroll through them and you can see them again. Look at these pictures of all our friends. It's just great to have them here. And we're going to do this again, folks, for Father's Day. We're going to do a graduation special. We can even try doing Memorial Day. Of course, the Memorial Day, all the proceeds will go to charity. Today, half the proceeds went to charity. By the way, that's a picture of Rosanna Bernstein. We didn't have her first name in there, but now we do. Rosanna Bernstein from her daughter, Elizabeth. And look at all these great pictures and lovely tributes from all these folks. Thank you so much for playing along with us as we pay tribute to all these great moms. And we were able to do that because of you. And half the proceeds from these ads will go to Nick Kristoff's C19 Impact Initiative, C19 Impact Initiative, which is just a great, great thing. And here is our chance to say thank you to all the families and for everyone for supporting us and supporting me as I do these various online things. I'm so grateful to every single person who has been able to participate and be here. And Arlene says beautiful photos. And thank you, Sree. And thank you, Arlene. We got her in there. That's great. And we want to just thank our all our wonderful donors, supporters, sponsors of the ads for Mother's Day. Thank you very, very much. I also want to do a shout out to Nidhi Sinha, who sponsored 7 days of ads for two of her favorite nonprofits, the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, and also, as you can see, ProPublica. Congrats on ProPublica's 6th Pulitzer in 12 years. Please donate generously today at propublica.org, propublica.org. And thank you, Nidhi Sinha, for being such a great supporter. And a big shout out to Pratham USA and its Rise or Responsive Innovation to Sustain Education campaign. Today is the last day to make a donation at prathamusa.org, prathamusa.org, and make sure that your donation is matched 2 for 1. So please double that by joining and going to prathamusa.org and making a donation. I've got to say, I am exhausted after this long and wonderful day. We have so many great shows coming up in the days ahead, but don't forget to look back and see our shows like our show about pandemics and Shakespeare and what we can all learn from Shakespeare during the pandemics period. We had a show on screen addiction, and we talked about screen addiction. We met Chef Vikas Khanna, one of the great celebrity chefs in India, who's given 2 million meals to people who needed them. And last week we met John O'Leary on Sunday night, and he is now Amazon's #1 best-selling author, and you heard about him here as well. And then the day before that, we met these fantastic actresses, one from Ozark and Jessica Jones, that was Jessica Francis Dukes, and Destiny Ray, who was talking about the Tina Turner musical, Book of Mormon, and so much more. And folks, those are just some of the shows we have done in this time, and just so grateful to all of you. 60 days, 60 shows. Please send us feedback, Sree at Sree.net, SREE@SREE.net. Many big thanks to Scroll.in. Check them out on one of India's best news, culture, analysis websites. I'm so grateful to all of them for supporting us, our friends at Scroll, and to all of you for watching. It's been 60 days, and we'll keep going as long as we can. And thank you to all the comments that's coming in. Alan says, okay, time for Father's Day. Yes, I agree, Alan. And that's Rose's husband, Alan, weighing in, making a pitch for Father's Day. And Renee, will let you have the last word. Thanks for sharing family and friends positivity on Mother's Day, 60th show for the Sree COVID-19